Diane. I am currently living in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a C6 quad, and I got injured in July of 2020. I'm part of the Kelly Brush family and really excited to be facilitating these conversations. In April of this year is when we kind of started having these discussion groups focused on different adaptive sports and recreational activities. It was a collaboration between Kelly Brush Foundation, the United Spinal Association to make this possible. And it's a group that meets bi-weekly, every other Tuesday at 5:30. And the hope really is to provide a platform for adaptive sports enthusiasts, or not even enthusiasts, brand new adaptive sports athletes to engage in lively discussions about various recreational activities. So each week we kind of focus on a different adaptive sport, asking experts in the field to come and join us and offer their insight, whether that's through question and answer or presentations, storytelling, panelists. Every week's a little bit different, and I think this week will be a combination of kind of all those things mixed together. I'd really like to hear from everyone. So hopefully, if I did my outreach all right, you won't hear from me too much after this little intro, and it'll just be a really nice open conversation. Please hop in to answer questions, to ask questions. You can raise your hand. You can just chime right in. You can answer questions or ask questions in the chat, and I'll continue to monitor those. Right now, you are looking at the Kelly Brush Active Project page, and this is our mountain biking page. I just wanted to throw this up here. Our Active Project is our digital resource for all things adaptive sports and recreation. So great resource to either discover sports, find places to try them, connect with peers. We have hundreds of informational videos on here, dozens of sports, hundreds of organizations and their events. There's forums, messaging, equipment information, and a lot more. One of my favorite features is this map down here. So if you do create a profile, you can kind of oops, no, I do not want to go in the Indian Ocean. Oh boy. Well, once you create a profile, you can kind of look at this map, and we are just in the US, as you can tell, some Canada. But you can find people that are interested in mountain biking as well, to then maybe connect with if you need a mountain biking partner. You can find different programs. So the yellow are people, and then the blue houses are all of the different organizations across the country. So I encourage you guys to check that out, create a profile, get up on there, get your organization on there so others can find you, and we'll get your events page also up there so people know what's going on in your area. Really trying to make this as most comprehensible as possible, so please feel free to email us with any thoughts on how we can make it a better resource. I'll type into the chat as well the email that's best used there. I'll stop sharing my screen. And from there, I'd like to just really go around and kind of do some introductions. If you're an organization, I'd love it if you could share a little bit about your organization, where you're from, kind of maybe some upcoming events that you have going on. And then if you're an athlete or looking to get into it, maybe where you ride, if you have a bike, what bike do you have? And then, yeah, any other questions or comments? But I'm really excited to get this started. So my first person here I have on the top left is Bowhead. So I'm going to pass it off to you guys to get us started.
Hello, my name is Sally, and I have Sierra here. It's amazing to see so many familiar faces here. I see Max and Ryan, and I saw Jen's name pop up. Yeah, so I've been with Bowhead for about 3 years, and Bowhead has been making adaptive mountain bikes since 2018. And long before that, when Christian was doing, all of his own R&D for his own needs. And it's been a really, really exciting, well, my 3 years being here, but even knowing Bowhead riders before that, and just seeing where the equipment has come along with all of the other adaptive equipment out there, it just seems like it's such an exciting time for all adaptive sports, and especially to be working with organizations like Kelly Brush, High Fives, you name it. So yeah, it's an exciting time for all of us. And there is some really exciting stuff happening with potential Paralympic movement. So I'll send some follow-up. I can send some links in the note, but there's been lots of talk of that recently, especially with the Bowhead RX, and some exciting videos that have come out recently, just kind of trying to move that movement along. So very exciting times. And if anyone has any questions, Bowhead related, Sierra is a rider herself, one of the best adaptive mountain bikers out there, and she is happy to answer questions. I'm happy to answer questions about all of our bikes. So yeah, we're stoked to be here. Do you want to?
I've been working for Bowhead for 3 months now. So I am, if you have any bike issues, you can reach me at service at Bowhead Corp. But yeah, I've been riding bikes since 2021, and haven't looked back. And now we are seeing the team growing, so it's been really exciting. And I've been able to be part of a lot of coaching and a lot of events. So happy to share a lot of that too if other people have questions.
And we're currently in one of our offices. We're in the middle of a big move, but if we are happy to kind of do a quick shop tour at the end if anyone is interested in seeing the space where the bikes are made and everything like that.
That would be really cool.
Do you want me to popcorn to the next person?
Sure. Or does anyone have any specific questions right now for these two? All right, yeah, let's keep going, and then I'm sure things will come up.
Sounds good. It looks like next in line is Kenzie.
Awesome. Thanks. So I'm Kenzie Bruner. I'm with Vermont Mountain Bike Association in the great state of Vermont. And my technical day job is the marketing communications manager, but I also manage all of our adaptive assessments that we work with Kelly Brush Foundation and with Vermont Adaptive Ski and Sports on. So our goal is actually to assess a lot of the existing trails in Vermont and make sure that they are accessible for adaptive riders. And we've assessed and improved over 100 miles of trails so far, which is really, really exciting, and only going to keep that number ticking up. But yeah, just happy to be a partner in all of this, and was lucky enough to meet some of the people on this call at Move United's conference this spring, where Vermont Adaptive, Kelly Brush, and Vimba all presented on the partnership that we have around it. Yeah, so that's kind of us. So I'll pass it over to Dream Adaptive Recreation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kenzie. My name's Maddie Westbrook, and I have Nicole Fairclough here with me. We both work as part of the program team for Dream Adaptive Recreation. We are located in Whitefish, Montana, Flathead Valley of Northwest Montana. So we're super far up there, and we run year-round programming. And one of those programs is a really robust cycling program that includes paved path options, gravel riding, as well as a pretty large adaptive mountain biking program. And we were lucky enough to meet Diane down at an Empower SCI program in Missoula 2 years ago, and it's just been awesome up here. So thank you. Yeah, with that, I will pass it off. The next one in line for us is Tanya Everett.
Hi, I'm in Bend, Oregon. I'm a mountain bike instructor for Oregon Adaptive Sports. And I go out and ride the trails a lot with adaptive athletes here, and have been working some with CODA, our trail organization, to assess certain sections on our trails to see if they're accessible or not. And the next person I see is Jack Gerard.
Alrighty. I guess I'm just kind of an athlete, or just kind of figuring it out. I know Diane through, whether it's Empower, I see a few friendly faces that I like see online, whether it's Instagram or whatnot. It's kind of crazy how small this world is. But I'm a C6 quad, and I guess some of the toys that I have is I don't know exactly how you want to pronounce it, but they're called like Baytex or Bayatex, and they attach to the front of your wheelchair. So I have one that's a hand cycle one and one that's just powered. And so they're like 900 watts to 1500 watts, and I juiced one of them up a little bit extra. So I mean, you can really get on your horse. I biked home from Boston the other night at like 1 in the morning, and I don't know, it's got lights, you get a good helmet and you have a blast. Yeah, Diana had a little fun, left it at Back Bay, threw it in the old bike spot, grabbed it,
You inspire me.
and I definitely push it. I'm not gonna say that I haven't fallen yet, but I put my fair share of miles, like a little over 5,000 on them now. So
So
I got
cool. Thanks for sharing, Jack.
Rob
Jack,
was
where did you say you were from?
Boston. Massachusetts through and through. So born, raised, educated, and now pay taxes. I think to popcorn it though, Rob, I think you were next in line, Galloway.
All right, great. I'm Rob Galloway. I guess I represent actually a lot of groups here. I'm a volunteer for Vermont Adaptive. I get to coach a lot of the KBF camps and travel for that. That's really fun. But technically, I'm here as a board member of Richmond Mountain Trails, which is a chapter of the Vermont Mountain Bike Association. And we just finished building out a completely adaptive, accessible trail network here in Richmond, Vermont. And that was like a whole trail network that we built from the ground up with the goal of having every single trail being adaptive accessible. And we actually just dropped the rope on the last trail in that build last Wednesday. So we're like, all I have to do is hang signs and put up a map, and then we're done. So that's been a really cool project. That's been like almost a 4-year long project now. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about trails, trail building, or anything, happy to answer them. And I see Ali B in the middle of my screen.
I'm Allie. I am a C5, C6 quad. I was injured just about 2 years ago, and I recently got a grant for a bowhead reach, which I'm going to pick up on Sunday, which I'm very excited about. And I was injured mountain biking, so it's kind of a neat full circle to be able to get back to biking and exploring the world on a bike. Next, I see Jackie Mueller.
Hello, I'm Jackie Mueller. I am also one of many connections to this community. I'm a recreation therapist. So I've spent about 8 years working in the City of Colorado Springs Therapeutic Recreation Program. And most recently, I work at Angletech Cycle Different, which is a recumbent cycling shop located in Colorado Springs. And so I'm here just to connect with more of Kelly Brush Foundation community. We have grants that we get through Kelly Brush and lots of the other foundations. And so just want to connect more with everyone. And yeah, and I also sit on a few boards of accessibility. And so it's fun to hear you guys talk about the assessments you're doing in the community for different trails.
Oh, can everyone hear her?
No, where'd she go?
We
Abby?
lost you, Jackie.
Oh no, did you hear any of that?
Maybe the last 30 seconds now.
Okay. I was just saying, like, if any of you guys are local to Colorado or whatever, just let me know if you guys have questions. I'd love to connect with more of you guys in the community. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I guess I'll popcorn it over to somebody. The next person I see is Edward.
Would that be Edward Newell?
Yeah.
Is that me? Hi. I'm in C3, C4 quad, and I'm in Duxbury, Mass. I just got a grant through Kelly Brush this past winter and bought an AZUB Tie Fly X, which I am totally stoked about. and just learning how to ride it and push it the way I used to before an accident that rendered me a quadriplegic. I definitely would like to connect with Kenzie, as I'm interested in the KBF mountain biking event that you guys are hosting. What is it, this fall, I believe? I
The
applied
KBF
for,
camp.
yeah,
Yeah.
KBF camp. I'm wondering what the facilities are like. As you are probably well aware, we all have specific needs for our bodies when we're not riding.
Yeah.
And just wondering what I can expect to encounter if I get selected for this camp.
100%. So technically, the trails that camp are on are the few trails that are not VIMBA trails in our state. So we manage over 1,000 miles of trails, but the
Yeah.
Kingdom, Northeast Kingdom, is not ours. But I'm actually going to pass it over to Rob maybe to speak a little bit more, since Rob is always at the camp. I'm coming for the first time to the full camp this year. Rob can speak to more though.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to coach at all 3 versions of the camp so far. So we stay at Burke Mountain Resort. They have a very nice hotel that is, it's very accessible, and I would say almost completely ADA accessible. There's a few
Okay.
little, things that we need to make work, but so far everyone that's come to the camp has been totally accommodated for, and we've been able to make it work. So, and then we take breaks throughout the day. We've got a good home base set up during the day while we're out on the bike. So there's always sort of space and people around to help, like do anything that you need to do during the day. And if you have any like unique or special requirements, then you can talk to Greg, and we can definitely make sure that that
Is that
happens.
Greg Durso
Yeah.
you're talking
Yep,
about?
he's the mastermind. He's the one to
And
talk to.
would you recommend that I bring my own bike up?
I would say depends what bike you have, but I would say bring the bike that you're most comfortable riding.
Okay, I have an aZub Tyfly X, which is full suspension mountain bike trike, or mountain trike, I guess.
Yeah,
It's a
that'll do.
leg bike, not a hand cycle.
I will also add one piece, Rob, that if you feel like you need someone like to bring up someone with you to like help with any side of the like PCA kind of side of things, that
Right.
oftentimes too that they can try to Greg can try to help facilitate, like if you have a person to bring some of that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Allie. That is another concern, because I'm not 100% independent yet. I'm 16 months post-injury, so still trying to figure some things out, but ready to push the envelope a little bit too, I've taken up enough time. I'm throwing the popcorn to Max Lyman.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Max.
I'm Max. I just recently this winter got a Bowhead RX. I was lucky enough to get up to Calgary and visit the Bowhead headquarters, and I got to go out and ride in the snow out there. It was pretty awesome. But since being back I'm in Boston, so since being back in Massachusetts and New England, I've ridden down in Southern Mass and in Cape Cod. I've gotten the last 2 weekends I got to go up to Vermont, go to Killington, and then I went to the Northeast Kingdom. Rode a little downhill and just some trails out there, and had a blast. I gotta say, like the Bowhead RX, it changes the game for what you can do and what you can expect on a bike for sure. Now that
That's an incredible machine.
Yeah, the articulation lets you do everything. So I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to the rest of summer, getting out and riding. Yeah. And see a lot of faces that I recognize and that I've ridden with before. So it's good to see you guys. I'll throw it over to Ryan Manning.
Ryan, before I let you go, Max, can you just share maybe how you travel with your bike?
Yeah. So I got a car, I got an SUV, Chevy Blazer, and Bowhead sells a rack that goes along with the bike, that goes around the tow hitch. So I can get it off the rack. I usually ask for help when it comes to putting the bike back on the rack. But I'm sure I could figure it out if I really had to. But I'm always surrounded by so many amazing people that want to help. So yeah, pretty lucky. And
Ask,
it's
how do you
awesome.
have insurance on it, or do you lock it? Like, how do you put something like that's so like important to you like on the back? I have a Ram 2500, so that's why I always kind of wonder like why people do it the way that they do it.
Yeah. I have a kryptonite like chain bike lock that I put on it and lock it up if I'm like staying in a parking lot or at a gas station or something like that, sitting overnight. But otherwise it stays on real nice, and I'm not too worried when I'm driving down the highway hitting potholes and stuff. It's not gonna fall off. So yeah. And yeah, I think you can put them on your home or renter's insurance to protect it. So I'll do that eventually. Got to figure that out. But yeah.
Yeah, you can get a rider on your homeowner's insurance to cover it.
That's awesome.
Oh.
And also, now that I know that you're in this neck of the woods, we'll see if we can get into some fun. I'll have to talk to Diane. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been West Hill Dam down in Uxbridge, but I'm in West Roxbury. So that's where I live.
I live in West.
Max,
Oh yeah.
Max, this is Jackie. You should register. I think all you need is like your serial number from your bike, and then you can register under your home. But you should do that because then it'll be covered if something happens. Like, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, you live in West Roxbury though?
Yeah.
I do too.
Redlands Road. But yeah.
Right next to Star Market. This is wild.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
This is all right. Well, you're gonna have to join the squad because I go out with like Julia again, Jemmy. I don't know if you knew.
Really? All right. Yeah, I hang out with Julia and Mark and
yeah,
stuff,
Mark. So. Oh my! All right, this is really small. Oh my god! All right, I'll
yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right, Ryan, we'll go to you next.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live up in Burlington, Vermont. I was just awarded a grant to get a Bowhead Reach, which will be coming hopefully at the end of the month to meet me out trip in Colorado. I'm a C6-7 quad to come in early September. It'll be 2 years now. But yeah, I'm stoked to get out and get out on the Reach and rip it around. I got a chance to fly out to Calgary and go try the bike out for a little bit out there with Sierra and had a blast. And now just jonesing to get my bike back here and rip the Richmond Mountain Trails with Rob and Greg and the crew. So
I'm not on your list to go riding with. Just kidding.
Go ahead and popcorn to that, whoever.
to Joe Pomeroy.
Hey everyone, Joe Pomeroy here, T7, Greenville, South Carolina. I ride about 7,000 miles a year, combination of road on my carbon bike, gravel on my Thai Aero Gravel S, and Zwift. I'm a current reigning H3 gravel national champion. Plan to defend that this September in Nebraska. And my KBF grant last year helped buy that gravel bike, which I won that national championship on last year. Currently trying to grow the sport through gravel hand cycling. And if anybody is anywhere near the Southeast or travels down here, I can offer 5 free entries to any hand crank hand cyclist to any Southeast gravel event, whether it's e-assist or non-e-assist. So if you're on a hand crank bike in the Southeast and you want to run that series, 5 people can do it for free and open standing. Did a 5-week trip out west last to fall, rode all, did Colorado, Utah, Idaho, and then nationals in Nebraska, came home. And I mix in some road races on the side too, in the middle of that. But yeah, the KBF grant was huge for me to get that Tyro gravel bike. And I've actually helped develop that bike with the Engineer Vegan in Sweden. And it's the difference between the Tyro and everything else is the Tyro is only 32 pounds. It's all it's titanium and carbon and uses a SRAM 1x12 wireless ETAP access system. So love the bike and very much appreciative to Kelly Brush for sending that grant to me. It's getting lots of use. And hopefully get more of you guys out on gravel. So, you know, bring your mountain bikes out to it. And gravel is all the cool kids are doing gravel. So I think it's a huge growth potential. So it's a lot of fun. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm kind of a technical geek when it comes to wheels, tires, gearing, all that type of stuff for both road and off-road bikes.
Yeah, maybe we can take a pause. Any questions so far for each other or Joe or anyone?
Yeah, so what is gravel? Like, is it a course that's just like dirt roads kind of gravel, or like I've never heard of it.
So gravel cycling is by far the largest growth area of cycling. Part of the reason being is people are tired of getting hit by cars. And so it's typically, gravel roads. I do some single track. Some gravel events do have some single track mixed in, which that's more classic mountain bike stuff. But Colorado has a lot of great gravel roads. It can just take you to places where pavement can't. I was out in Idaho. I did Rebecca's Private Idaho, climb the mountains out there. You're not going to get out there, on a road bike. You just can't. So you're out in nature a whole lot more with the gravel. And the gravel scene is pretty laid back. It's kind of like how the mountain bike scene was, a few years ago. Typically, the events are much longer than road events. And they typically always have after parties, which is great. The community is awesome in gravel. And some of these events are massive. I think Kelly Brush was out. Well, Kelly Brush was out at Steamboat Gravel last August, and I ran that. And Steamboat Gravel caps it at like 5,000 riders. So a lot of these things are huge events. It's a mass start type situation, so it's a lot of fun. And a lot of them a lot of gravel events are very welcoming. The gravel events probably do the most to try and be inclusive to everyone that I've seen. They have a lot of classes that a lot of road stuff don't even consider for people. And they always will allow e-assist bikes, in their events from what I've seen. And they're learning more and more about how to be inclusive to adaptive people. That they listen to us and they make changes every year and improve their events every year based on feedback from us. So it can just take you a lot of places that can't classically go. And in a lot of locations, gravel is just a lot more accessible. I live alone. I'm single. I have a wagon. The tire is light enough where I can throw it in the back of the wagon myself. I can go out, and go gravel riding. And that kind of accessibility is great as well. So it's just kind of my thing. I kind of like it. And the tire is versatile enough where really I can ride it road, gravel, or even mountain. I've taken up mountains and done some single track. So it's very, very versatile there. May not be as comfortable as some of the other bikes with full suspension, things like that. The only suspension I have are the tubeless tires. I run those about 20 PSI, the tubeless and seal it, which is, it's still pretty good. But yeah, I just if you were to just Google gravel cycling, you'll see a lot of events pop up, but it's huge. It's getting huge. In fact, the Tour de France, the last stage of Tour de France, not today's, but Saturday's, was the first true gravel stage in the modern era of Tour de France, and that was pretty cool. They had several sections of gravel in it, and it really shook things up for a while. So it's pretty cool to see. And by far in the States, it's the biggest growth. Another reason for the growth of it, and I don't want to talk too long, is not just roadies wanting to get away from cars, but there's a lot of people that don't want the technicality of mountain biking. You know, they're afraid of crashing and the technical skills that are required for mountain biking. So a lot of women are in gravel cycling for that reason, and guys that have been hurt too. You know, so it's a good mix of being off-road, being in nature, not as technical, and the speeds are a little bit higher, which some people like too, versus mountain biking. You can cover more distance, you know, on typical gravel courses than you can on mountain biking. So that's in a nutshell. Feel free to send me any questions if you have it. Guess I'll pass it on to Eric. Eric should have good feedback.
Eric,
It looks like you're still muted.
How's that? We good?
We're good.
All right, sorry. So yeah, my name is Eric Kondo. I live in the Boston area, so there's a lot of Boston people here, which is great. I currently have a Bowhead RX. I also have a reactive adaptions bomber, which I put on power assist too, and you know, bike, you know, whenever I can in this area, and it's great to see you know, more and more interest in what's going on. So yeah, I'm happy to hear what everyone has to say, and I'm learning a lot. So I'm gonna be brief since there's so many people here, and I'm gonna give it to Devin Riley.
Hi. I am in Bishop, California. I am mostly joined to just hear what everybody had to say. I'm also on the board of directors at Disabled Sports Eastern Sierra in Mammoth Lakes, California. I first tried adaptive mountain biking, I think way back in the earlier days of the one-off, and access to trails, the hilliness and soft terrain where I live, it just wasn't my thing, but as e-assist and then suspension came into play, I really started doing this pretty much as my full-time adaptive sport. I love being outside and moving. To tag on to what Joe was saying about the gravel riding, that's also become a big part of my riding now because I can ride from my house. I have near unlimited trails there, and moving from my primary reactive adaptations hammerhead, which wasn't great for gravel riding because of the position, to Bowhead RX, really has expanded the amount of riding I can do off-road. Many roads that I would ride, road rides I do, I still head out on, but now I can just make a left and boom, I'm out in nice scenery and terrain, and just love doing this. The other thing, if anybody wants to chime in on what they find to be keys to success in mountain bike camps, I'd love to hear it. We put on a couple here, and any tidbits or tips and tricks on that would be awesome. Thanks. And I'll try to find somebody to hand it off to. Maybe Abby, if she hasn't been up yet.
Hi, I'm hiding in my basement from the heat. I'm just a mom. My son, Sam Burrington, is an avid adaptive mountain cyclist. My husband, who has a strong connection to the Adirondack Mountains, is working with the Barkeeter Trails Alliance to introduce adaptive standards as kind of the default for new trails and trail rehab projects. I think Sam rides an adaptive reactions cycle that unfortunately has a computer and or motor problem right now, so he's a little stranded, and he does road biking as well. He loves the Kelly Brush ride. We all do, the whole family, extended. And that's that. That's it for me.
Thanks, Abby. And to jump back to Devin's question, does anyone have any comments or suggestions for mountain biking camps? Tips and tricks?
There's one that's gotten a lot of traction in Bentonville. I think it's in October, maybe, Bentonville, Arkansas. And you might want to just Google it and find the people there, because people seem to love it. And they've got a really good course there.
I'm familiar with that one. I'd love to go out there. It's quite a drive for me. And if I would just, kind of thinking on my own, it feels like the events that draw more people is a big help to the people that show up, kind of answering my own question because of all the knowledge that people bring in this sport. Like you've answered some questions of mine online, I know, Joe, and it's a great community in that aspect.
The other one I would add would be Peter Park of the Paralyzed Veterans Association. They have get-togethers in Virginia near Richmond. It is. I've been to it once, and I think April, and I think they do it again in September, at least twice a year. And they get a lot of guys out for that. And you don't have to be a veteran to go to that. If you're a veteran, I think they pay for stuff, but I went, I just had to pay for my own hotel and travel. But he could be a good resource too.
Thanks.
Devin and Joe, hey, what's going on, Devin? Good to see you. I was talking to Wyatt as far as the camp goes. So my name real quick is Phil Hashem. Big adaptive mountain bike enthusiast. I do sales and community engagement for Lasher Sport. Supposed to actually be in Mammoth as we speak right now with Devin and those guys running the camp out there. But I got an open wound on my back that I'm nursing. And I think a lot of us all know what that's like. So unfortunately, I'm sitting here with my cushion in the back offloading, and I'll be out at the next one. But like Joe was saying, so Peter Park, good friend of mine, actually was talking to Wyatt about getting him and the PVA crew out to Mammoth for a camp for next year. And so Mammoth is going to be pretty much a big destination, I think. So I was a part of the Bentonville stuff that Joe was talking about last year. We had 42 adaptive riders there, record setting at the time. And then over here at Boise just a few weeks ago, I think there was 65 riders at that camp. So that was the biggest one in history so far with the Calf Idaho people. So with Lasher now, I do a lot of community engagement, right? So I go around doing these exact sort of camps. So anyone that kind of needs help with that, that's something that we put on a lot, both from Bentonville and in Mammoth. And I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, so we do a ton of events here with 360 High Country. We just had a race a couple weeks ago, having another race on October 6th for people that want to race. So lots of events, lots of races, lots of camps, demo clinics, working with the VA to have bikes out there exhibited and just spreading the sport as well. So Mammoth is an awesome destination. Devin, I think Wyatt was telling me you are going to be a part of this one this week, right? So
yeah, I'm always there.
Yep. So I know when we were chatting, I don't know if you were sure if you were going to be there. So that's good. That's good. Got my buddy Brad stepping in for me to come kind of help lead that one and coach some people up. But Mammoth is great riding, and I think a great location to continue to grow, like some of these premier destinations like Idaho, like Bentonville, a lot of stuff we're doing in Arizona, and then now Mammoth. So any questions anyone might have or any clinics or camps they want to run, I'll leave my email in the chat too. You guys could reach out to me and connect.
I like to add in, if people want to Google Catalyst Sports, I think it's Catalyst. I know it's Catalyst. I think it's Sports DN. They do mountain bike stuff in Asheville, Knoxville, in Hendersonville. So in that region, if people want to hook up there, it's definitely not as big as what you guys got going on, Bentonville or Mammoth, but it's growing. They're trying. So it's, hopefully it'll continue to get traction. Catalyst Sports.
Yeah, they just sent out an email today, Joe. I think their next they have a race on, wasn't it August 28th through September 2nd in North Carolina, I think is their next one coming up. So if any of you guys are interested in joining that, you could Google Catalyst Sports and those dates, and then you should be able to see the camp pop up. Or I'll see if I could put a link up in the chat for that too. But yeah, Catalyst does a lot of cool stuff. They travel all around the Southeast region. They got an arsenal of about like 8 lashers or so that travel around, and they run their own camps, clinics, races, and events as well, and group rides.
Got a question from Ed. Go ahead, Edward. Well, maybe not. Edward, do you have your hand up on purpose?
Yes, I did. My touch screen is not behaving, so I was having trouble unmuting. For you guys that are running these destination camps, how do you provide bikes for all these people, or are people traveling with their bikes? I mean, I have a trike with e-assist, and that thing weighs about 50 pounds, and it's quite a beast. I can't imagine getting it to Bentonville, Arkansas from the coast of Massachusetts. And so how do you provide bikes for 30 or 40 people that are showing up for these events?
So it's a combination, Ed. So like the Bentonville camp was mainly people with their own bikes. There's a ton of incredible trails out there. So Trailblazers is the organization that is really involved. Ozark Adaptive is the adaptive program. So you could reach out to them. For this year's event, which will be the last week of October, let me give you the exact dates. You're looking at, and this is the same dates every year. So if you look on your calendar, this event in Bentonville is the last Thursday through Sunday of every October. So this year it's going to be October 24th through the 27th.
And what is that event called?
It's called, I think they call it like the Bentonville Adaptive Bike Experience. But if you Google it, and I'll try to put links for all the stuff we're talking about in the chat before we're all set. But October 24th through the 27th, they have, I think last year Catalyst was a part of it, so Catalyst had a bunch of bikes to ride. They do have bikes. Ozark's got a few lashers, I think maybe a couple other bikes as well. They I think have maybe 6 or 7 bikes available this year. Registration's free. So a big part of like when we try to put on a lot of these events is try to keep them free registration, because the travel, the hotels, all that costs, money, right? So we understand that for people, but it's usually a combination. A lot of people bring their own bikes. Sometimes there's bikes available, like the camp in Mammoth has their own bikes available too. So that camp's going on from tomorrow to Sunday. And it's a beginner camp with an advanced. And those are kind of some of the major events around the country are going to be Bentonville, Idaho, Mammoth, the stuff with Catalyst Sports in North Carolina, and a lot of the stuff we have here in Arizona. Those are kind of some of the major events throughout the country. There's a great race. I think Rob from the Adaptive Sports Center in Colorado is out there over here with us today as well. So he could talk about the championships as well. That's always a huge event in August of every year too. So lots of good events. aMTB Hub has got a great, if you go to aMTBhub.com, they have a list of all of the adaptive mountain biking events going around the country, all the major ones. And I'm working on a riders club as well for the Lasher website to have kind of a combination of events and sports videos, mechanical stuff, and just an overall community that we're building out that's going to have a lot of this stuff kind of organized in one place, because I know it's all over the place right now. So the OR8C forums is another great resource on Facebook. They'll post a lot of events going on, but I would check out aMTBhub.com. I'll start putting some of these links because we're talking about a lot of stuff. So, but anyway, short answer is it's a combination.
There is no short answer. Thanks,
Yeah,
Phil.
a lot. You got it.
Related to events and community and riding, if you're anywhere near a large community or city that has adaptive programs, more and more they are holding community rides regularly that you can join. For mountain biking, Salt Lake City area comes to mind. Boise's doing it, and I'm sure people could chime in with others. So you don't necessarily have to wait for an event too if you're looking to ride with other people. There's more and more opportunities to find people to ride with on trails that you know are going to be accessible and have support if needed.
Just wanted to add a quick plug also to the National Ability Center in Utah. When I went there, they have a ton of money because they have just a fleet of bikes that's amazing. I bet they have $200,000 worth of bikes up there. Seriously. I mean, must be 50 or 60 of them. So just Google them, see what's on their calendar, you know, and a lot of times you can stay there. They have kind of like a dorm type setting, and it's pretty cheap. They'll give you a price break on it if you have a disability.
So this is Jackie with Angle Tech. If you guys also know a local shop, you can call a local recumbent shop, and they likely can connect you to the adaptive programs that are in that area that are leading local rides that they usually know about, because we lead some from Angle Tech and we know about a lot in the Colorado area. So if you guys need to know any, reach out to us as well.
Thanks. A lot of great information here, and make sure to everyone to check in the chat too. Lots of great links in there. Greg, we haven't heard from you yet. Can I pass to you?
Hi, I'm just new to getting into it. I met Phil last year up at Abilities Expo, and I'm hoping I had to try a ride free, and I'm just going to get with Phil as soon as we can when our weather breaks again, where we're out at these triple digits. We had set up a time, and then he went off and broke his foot on me. So we had to delay that one. But no, we're going to do the ride free and let me check them out. And then I definitely want to get into it. I'm an ex-rugby player, started back playing rugby out of Tucson, and our teams kind of fell apart a little bit. So I'm looking to say the heck with rugby and get on the mountain biking.
Yep, and now I got the open wound, Greg. So it's been that kind of a first half of the year, man. But I'm going to be taking off on the East Coast, and when I'm back in November, the weather will be perfect, and we'll get you on a bike.
Yeah, well, I'll be ready. Are you going to be at Abilities in September?
I'm gonna be in the Midwest doing a bunch of camps over there, but I will be back in November. And then we will have all the 360 stuff's going to be going on. So we'll be doing group rides literally every other week. So be a lot of stuff to do. And when we do those rides, there's a ton of people that come. We usually have about 15 people a ride. So big growing community. You'll be able to meet everybody. It's great out here.
Yeah, I'm anxious. We'll hook up. You get feeling better.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Ben Hannibal, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Ben Hannibal. I live here in Washington, D.C. So I have Bowhead RX. Had that for almost two years, 2.5 years. I also have a Top End Force G. So I did the mountain bike camp last year in Burke. Probably one of the most rewarding experiences I had. Learned everything about the bike, got it all tuned in. Most recently, I was able to take and do a bike race up at my parents', which first time I was able to use a mountain bike and bike in my hometown, and ended up talking to the folks there, and they're like, we want to make adaptive trails here for adaptive hand cycling. It was really kind of cool to like connect with them and explain how adaptive mountain biking has taken off. So yeah, I've done kind of all that, and I ski and do all that. Yeah, but the mountain biking has been my favorite since I started, went up to Vermont. Did that about 3 years ago, and they just got me hooked. So yeah. Any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm always kind of open. So see a bunch of people in here. I see a couple people I've met too. So
Love that.
yeah.
Bill, we haven't heard from you.
Hey, I'm new to this group. It's a pleasure to listen to everybody and all the excitement around mountain biking. My name's Bill Bogdan. I'm from the Chicagoland area, Chicago, Illinois. I'm with the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. Many of you, I'm on with the United Spinal and many other working groups too. So it's great to connect. Just last month, got the awesome opportunity. Shirley Ryan was out to Killington, Vermont, and we rode with Vermont Adaptive and the Kelly Brush Foundation. I did some fantastic mountain biking at Sherburner out there and all the trails over in Killington, and just really got involved in mountain biking back in 2019 and loved it so much. Got my own mountain bike. I got a reactive adaptations nuke with the e-assist. I've been a wheelchair user for 54 years. So when I was little, mountain biking never existed. Well, biking didn't exist for people with disabilities back then. So went in it full circle. And one of the best things I really love about it too, I got my son into mountain biking, and now it's a father-son thing. We went down to Bentonville and was out at the Bentonville Bike Festival. Had an awesome time out there till Mother Nature came through with a tornado and leveled the place and just destroyed biking for the day. I've been out to the Adaptive Sports Center twice and rode out there for the last 2 years, and just looking to really connect with people and help grow the sport, and really love the enthusiasm. So I'll pop it over to Rob over there at the Adaptive Sports Center. You can talk about your race coming up.
Sweet. Thanks, Bill. This is awesome to see a bunch of familiar faces and names and organizations I've kind of communicated with off and on for the last like 9 years. I'm Rob Gunther. I'm the program manager at the Adaptive Sports Center. We're in Crested Butte, Colorado. And we are an adaptive program that operates year-round, doing kind of adventure experiences for people with disabilities. So our like day-to-day is mostly introducing people to activities, and so we have a program bike fleet, and a lot of it is again kind of introduction, teaching skills, and getting people connected with different resources so that they can take some passions and enjoyment home with them. But the other thing that we do is we host a race. We've done it this will be the 13th year. It's the Adaptive Mountain Biking World Championships. And it's different than all of the programming that we do in that it's really truly a race. And so we bring out 15 to 20 adaptive riders. We have foot-powered recumbent classes, hand cycle classes, and then typical stand-up bike classes for all of our riders. And we race around Crested Butte Mountain Resort, uphill and downhill courses, some loops, and it's been a super cool event. It's growing in technicality kind of every year, and it's awesome to see kind of what the sport's growing into and what all the new bikes can handle. And we're kind of running out of terrain to keep throwing all of the racers, but they keep crushing it. It's awesome. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'd love to see you all out in Crested Butte. We're a little far away, but it's worth the trip.
I'm just going to add, for people that maybe like me are not super competitive, the races are fun. Crested Butte's beautiful, and yeah, everything about the event's great.
Any other questions, any other comments? And I don't want to call on anyone that does not have their camera on, but If any of those people would like to have a moment, please chime in.
I'm curious about the bowhead rack. So I have a adapted mountain bike that I got through Kelly Brush Grant, and right now I'm just basically riding out from my apartment most of the time and going around places like where I live. I live in Minnesota, so there's not a lot of mountains anyways, but we do have trails and stuff. And unless I can find a friend with like a pickup truck or something, I can't get it places. But I don't have a bowhead bike. Does that rack work with other bikes? Do you know?
What
So
cycle do you have?
It's a Sport On XC.
our bowhead hauler specifically is designed to hold the frame rails, but I could send you a link for a company we've been working with called Bike E-Rack. It's a custom rack builder out of Vancouver, BC, and they do some incredible racks. They can either do like 2 adaptive bikes, or they can make it for 1 adaptive bike and a couple mountain bikes, and they're electric, so they hang vertically, but then when you're ready to take your bike off, you can lower it like that, and then the bikes will be flat on the ground. So yeah, for anyone para quad, like they have a remote and you can load your bike independently, which is really cool. So I'll send the link in the chat, but they'd be worth looking into.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
Hey, William, where in Minnesota are you? Because we are definitely growing the community there pretty quickly. There's a bunch of bikes. I don't know if you're familiar with the Duluth Bike Festival, but there's gonna be a bunch of people out there here on the 19th.
Oh, coming up fast.
Coming up fast, yeah. So where are you located in?
I'm in Northfield, which is about an hour south of the Twin Cities, so it's a little ways. But my dad lives up in Hinckley, which is like halfway between the cities and Duluth, so he's a lot closer. I can always stay with him and make a quick trip to Duluth.
Yeah, my girlfriend lives up in Prior Lake, so I'll actually be up there in about 3 weeks. So, there's about, I'd say 8 of us with adaptive bikes over there now. So we're gonna be doing a lot of group rides, do a lot of stuff with like Three Rivers, if you're familiar with them.
Yeah, that's where I got into it.
With Sam and them.
aMTB, yeah.
Yep. So with Sam, Eric Larson's up in Duluth now with Northland Adaptive, and so yeah, man, we should link up for sure, because I'll be out there in a few weeks, and we're definitely growing the community there pretty quickly. So try to connect.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd like that.
For sure.
I just saw a new mount for a dirt bike on the back of a vehicle. It was a hitch mount. And you know those ones where they would have a rack where they roll the dirt bike onto it and it has rails? Well, instead of that, it has a drill operated. You just put your drill on it and it lowers kind of like a platform down, and then you raise it up onto the bottom of the bike and you bolt the foot pegs through it. And so it's bolted to this rack, and then you raise it up further for when you're driving. So it holds the dirt bike by the frame. And I'm sure you could adapt that to a mountain bike, and you wouldn't have to pick anything up. And it takes up hardly any space. Like you wouldn't even have to take it off your truck if you want to leave it on there. So you wouldn't have to worry about having this rack in your way all the time. It's really compact, and I can't remember the name of it. I just saw it just like a couple days ago. But if you were to maybe Google something like that, it was really, really cool. Because I used to race dirt bikes when I was a kid, and it's like it's a great, it's new, and it's a great idea that somebody finally came up with. It's raised and lowered with a drill, and it's like so easy. And you just might have to modify how you bolt your frame to it, but the sucker ain't going anywhere. It ain't falling off. And yeah, the wheels kind of are out there dangling, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt them being out there in space, as long as the frame is bolted down tight. So it was very compact, drill operated, very cool. So might want to Google that. Could be cool.
Yeah.
And I know this is not the cool thing to say, but I'll just say it. You know, I turn around maybe because I have kids, but they're a little grown now. But man, I got those minivans, man. I took my Nuke, my son's bike, my wheelchair, a cooler, and all our luggage all into my minivan and drove 9 hours down to Bentonville. And then Bentonville was a mud fest. I mean, it was so much mud with all the rain. You know, I didn't have to worry about my bike getting in, sitting on a rack and just getting dumped on with all the rain. I know minivans are not cool, but it's something to definitely look into, especially with the mountain biking. I don't have to take nothing apart. I just pop mine right in the minivan, put the seats down, and away I go. You know, one day we'll make minivans cool, but I know the disability community, they're like, I don't have a lift in mind, but they're like, it's not cool to be in a minivan, but look at all the stuff you can do with it. Just throwing that out there.
Actually, my name is Sky. Sorry, I don't have a camera because I'm on my work computer, but don't tell anybody. I actually have a Bowhead RX, and that is actually one of the problems I'm having is I got the Bowhead hauler, but it's not something that I can manage on my own. I need to have somebody help me with it. And so I had a minivan, which happened to catch on fire last weekend. So I'm looking for a new minivan, and I was thinking about trying to get the Bowhead in the back of the minivan, but was wondering if anybody had any ideas about how to get it back there, but independently without having to have anybody help. I was trying to think of like maybe a hitch or winch type system, but I haven't really found anything online.
Sky, we should definitely chat. A few things off the top of our heads is I've seen some really cool systems, like a winch system that one of our riders named Sam uses in Vancouver. And that's to get it into the back of his pickup. So it's like a pretty high lifted truck, and he's able to hook a winch onto the back of his bike and then winch his bike into his truck. So something like that. And it could probably be quite a bit simpler than his setup, because you'd only have to get, like a foot or a foot and a half or two into the van, as opposed to like 4.5 feet up into the truck. So something like that could work. I can also send you a video that somebody posted recently, one of our rogue riders, and she had a really cool ramp onto the Bowhead hauler, so she can now load her bike independently. And it's basically a ramp with a stopper in it, so she can get the bike up, and then instead of rolling back off the ramp, it stops on the stopper, and then she readjusts, and then she can get it the remainder of the way. So I'm not sure if that could be something that might make you be able to load the hauler independently. But follow up with us after, or I can even shoot you an email like right now and send you both of those, send you the link to Erica's video, because it was pretty cool. She's able to do it all by herself now.
Yeah, I can kind of manage to get it onto the hauler, but then I can't really reach the bits between like the van and the rack itself.
Oh, to like get the safety pin in and to
yeah,
jack it up?
Yeah. I probably could with more practice. But the van caught on fire, so that's my life.
Man, I hope everyone was okay.
It is fine. I was not in it. It was parked. And luckily my neighbor was able to pull it away from my house with a tractor before my house caught on fire. So it's fine. Everything's fine.
Lucky your neighbor was there. That sounds intense.
It was really intense. Yeah. So, but that's my life. And so I'm just trying to think of new things a different way. And it would also be nice to be able to put it in the back of the van for the winter so that it didn't get salt on it. I live in Vermont, where we like to use lots of salt. And so that's kind of another reason why I was thinking of maybe, because even the Bowhead hauler would get all salty, and I do want to be able to ride it in the winter.
If I can add to that, can I pop in there, Sky? So I have a Honda Odyssey minivan, and I made some ramps, and all I do to pull it in is just literally put a rope from to the front of the Bowhead, get in throw the rope into the minivan, transfer over, and just pull it straight in. It's actually not that hard. You don't necessarily need a winch. Some people use a winch, but you might not need it. It could be that simple. So that's my
I knew you would have the solution. I knew you would have some crafty solution.
it's cheap too. It's a super cheap solution.
Yeah, and you have I know Eric's has some videos online, and I've seen that, and it definitely looks like it works. Also, Lisa Franks has videos on her YouTube channel. I think it's Keeping It Wheel, where she uses a winch in hers with inexpensive ramps, and I've done that for loading my bowhead reach in a van. So there's a lot of people figuring these things out, what works for them and their bodies and vehicle. And like I said, Lisa Franks has videos of hers on her YouTube channel, and I know I've seen Eric's online.
Okay, I apparently need to be better at Googling. I'll check it out. Thanks.
I want to give Brian a chance to introduce himself. He's from Teton Adaptive. Hey, Brian.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Brian Guido, and I'm with Teton Adaptive. And we are out of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And also another great destination for adaptive mountain biking due to our partnership with Jackson Hole Mountain Resort and all the excellent trails out here. And upon that, we're also involved with a number of other organizations with Idaho Mountain Bike Festival. And over the years, it's grown exponentially, I would say, especially with the adaptive population. And it's really cool to see, I think, in all honesty, in like one of these forums, which might be a good piece to start to kind of think about, is I think one of the things we've noticed is just the amount of like batteries that have replicated like bunnies as of lately. And just trying to figure out some like really good resources for like charging and camping and all of these things at a larger capacity. I think is kind of a thing that of the present and the future that we're all going to be running into with all these festivals going on and stuff like that. So if anybody does have good suggestions with that, I'm more than happy to listen for sure.
Yeah, I was wondering, how do you charge the batteries? Because like I was camping, and I was just charging my bowhead battery out of my car.
Yep.
And it was like my car just would keep shutting off. I get like 10%, and then have to turn the car back on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we've experimented with a combination of like the Goal Zero electric, generator type things, and then also like generators on top of that. And you only get like, I think, a max of like 4 charges if you're lucky. So realistically, like for an individual, that would totally work, for a weekend or whatever you're doing because for the most part, I feel like we don't go through more than one battery, per day, pretty much, with all the reaches and stuff like that. But I'm thinking with you, if you're cranking all the time, you might go through a few more batteries.
Yeah, like I got
As well.
my one battery will last me like around 10 miles, I'd say, give or
Okay.
take. And then you gotta plug it in. But yeah, no, but the boat, it could hold 2 batteries. I just have one. So
Gotcha.
looking into that, but
important detail. Yeah. So Pierre, who works with us, has an RX, and he just ran a 100-mile like gravel race this last weekend. And so he just brought multiple batteries, and just like at every like transition, he stole them off of our roads pretty much. And I would think that you'd be lucky enough if you're like doing an event or anything like that where people would have multiple batteries.
Brian,
Yeah.
I would suggest reaching out to April Wolf at Reno Adaptive. She has a trailer.
I saw the
completely
trailer.
set up. Okay.
No, that is a great option. But I mean, even still, it's sunny here, but not Reno sunny. So I was thinking about that. Yeah. Do you have another suggestion?
I just wanted to add one quick one to go back about the winch thing. Harbor Freight sells like a very small power winch. It's only $75. I bought one mounted on a piece of wood and I have it on the top of my garage, and I picked my hand cycle up by the foothold to save space. But you could easily put that like between the front seats on a minivan, use a power inverter for 120 volt, and then it has a remote control, so you don't have to reach over. So you could, winch your mountain bike up into your minivan using that. And like I said, it's cheap. Like I said, 75 or 80 bucks from Harbor Freight.
I see
A
a
power,
hand here.
a power inverter is probably 20 bucks on Amazon.
Caroline Adams, are you there? I see your hand up. Caroline? Maybe not. Anyone else who, final comments? We're kind of wrapping it up here. Oh, hey,
Sorry,
Caroline.
Dad.
No, it's okay.
I am packing right now, so this is not a good day for me. So I am in southern New Hampshire, and everyone thinks southern New Hampshire is like the middle of nowhere. It's not. We're basically in Massachusetts. I have a Bowhead RX, and I know a lot of you from the mountain bike camp. I was injured 2 years ago, a little over 2 years. So anyone that's in Mass, southern New Hampshire, any part of New Hampshire, I'd pretty much drive to. I'm happy to go mountain biking. I've replaced my winter hiking with downhill biking. So if anyone's interested in that, I am ready to go. I don't know many of the adaptive trails in New Hampshire, but I'm always willing to try, even if it's an absolute fail. And we have to turn around and head back.
This is somewhat related to that, but I want to throw a little plug to Vimba and Kenzie. So if anyone does want to come to Vermont to go mountain biking, if you go to the Vimba website, we have a map with all of the trail networks that have accessible trails on them. And then usually there's a little blurb with each one telling you which trails are accessible. So if anyone's interested in coming to Vermont to go riding, there's a lot of great information there. And I'm going to go find a link for that right now.
Yes, I will put it in the chat right now. It's something that we've been really working hard on to make sure that the amenities that are going to be at every trailhead, the trails that are actually going to go, the trails that don't go, and all of that good stuff, so that you can have the most information to go on your ride, which is super, super important. So I'll put that in the chat right now. But please come ride. I'm biased. I think Vermont's trails are wonderful and absolutely so much fun. We have such a diversity. But that's just my bias.
I agree.
I just had a question about people's preference versus of a mid-drive versus just a hub motor, like on long rides, or I'm a quad, but I'm always just kind of curious. I've always used a hub drive, and I see like a lot of the mid-drives coming out now, like on the reach and whatnot, and whether it's just easier long term or a better workout in general, just that sort of thing.
My feedback is personally, I think a torque sensing hub drive gives you the most flexibility, in my opinion.
So like a 24 or 12 pole like torque sensor on like the actual crank.
No, there are torque sensing motors now, latest technology. So, it's better than just setting a watt power. I've used both. If you have one where you can just set the power level, it's great up hills, but then you're not doing any work on flat ground. Where if it's torque sensing, you can set how much torque assist it's going to give you. So it's much more consistent as far as the feel of the ride goes, and it feels more natural riding, in my opinion. And having it on a hub based on a wheel, I think it just gives you more flexibility for other things you want to do with the bike. Just my opinion.
Sweet.
I,
Thank you.
I agree with Joe. It's more natural feeling. It's a little bit like having superpowers. Or I'm 62. It's kind of I like feeling I'm 32 maybe, and but it's not always an option. And if it's not, I think that the non-torque sensing hub motors or the non-torque sensing mid drives are perfectly fine. You just have to tune it, kind of as Joe was saying.
If any of you guys want to deep dive on hub motors or mid-drive motors, you can call us at Angle Tech anytime, and we can do like a consultation just to talk motors to figure out what you might need. They're never any charge, so it's just to help you guys figure out what would be best for your bodies.
It's growing so fast. There's so much information online now too. I mean, it's really exploded. Even with upright people, you know, it's brought so many people back into cycling, like older people, you know, and that's why it's grown so fast. Older people are back riding again because they keep up with their friends with e-assist, you know, or people that have an injury that left the sport, they're coming back into it because of all the e-assist, and that's just helping us because that even the upright systems, the volume is so much greater. The technology is getting developed so fast. It seems like there's new stuff coming out all the time, and that just trickles down to what we use too. So it's really pretty kind of cool. Seems like something new's coming out like every few months.
All right, if you guys need to hop off or want to be respectful of everyone's time, if you do need to go, feel free. But would anyone, I know our friends from Bowhead did mention that maybe they could show us a little bit of what they have going on. Would that be something of interest to people? Maybe give a raise a hand or nod if that's something you guys want to see. Few. All right. Sure. Let's do that. And then also, if anyone else has any other comments, questions, feel free to chime in.
I was about to see if I can hop in on my phone because it might be easier to give you a quick tour, but I don't have the app downloaded, so we'll do a laptop tour.
You can start with Bugatti.
Okay, so can you guys see okay if I just kind of move slowly? I know our internet isn't amazing right now. So this is where we originally were making bikes when we had about a quarter of the shop. So I know Max has been here and a few others have been here. This is our machine shop. Lots of prototyping happening in here. A lot of our battery assembly and other procedures. Here's Sierra. Where are we headed next, Sierra?
Show them the wheel room.
Yeah. So we're, as you all know, or as some of you may know, we're starting to do wheelchairs very soon. So this is our 559, so our Bowhead rear wheel assembly room. And we also, these are our hubs. And then we're doing the Bowhead 7s as well, so the front caster wheels. So that all happens in that room. And then this is some of our storage. And then this is our newest facility. So this is where bike production is all happening now. Can everyone see that okay? Cool. So here's a Bowhead Rogue being built. And this is something new and exciting. I'm sure you all know Greg Durso. This is his Bowhead RX being built currently. He got the new Cerakote paint, so we're now offering colors on our bikes, which is super exciting. It's really cool. In one direction, it looks purple, and in the other direction, it looks blue. And it looks so good with all of the Bowhead blue bolts. Here's the uprights. Can you guys see that blue okay? And then there's the cranks also in that blue. So Greg will be here in a couple days and we'll be riding his new RX. And we have Dave Segal, who works with Rocky Mountain Adaptive. He's working on his RX over here. Oh, no. Throw you on the spot. Yeah. And here's Tucker, our main builder. He's building a Bowhead Reach. Where's this bike going, Tucker?
This bike is going out the door.
Making dreams come true over here. Yeah. Oh, this is Allie's bike that the Kelly Brush Foundation raised money for. So that is also very exciting. Allie Bianchi.
Yay!
Allie, are you in the crowd? There you are. Here's your new bike. So this bike will eventually be going to Vermont, but first Allie's coming here. We're very excited to see you, Allie, and ride with you. What else?
Can't wait.
And then we have,
Would you like to show them our wheel and brake room?
yeah, we can show them.
This is where all of our wheels and brakes get built.
We have actually wheels right now. So we have all of our rims.
Rims hanging on the roof there.
We have all of our brakes.
Brakes getting ready to go on bikes.
And normally Sean's in here tinkering away.
Usually we have somebody in here lacing wheels up on the touring stand. More inventory.
Grounding inventory.
And yeah. And then we have a couple other inventory rooms. And then we have all of upstairs now too. So we're getting an elevator put in, and then we'll have wheelchair assembly where our office is. And yeah, lots of changes going on. And then these are usually all the build sheets up here. So these are all new bikes. So there's 3 there, and yeah, more bikes getting built for people all over the world. So exciting things happening here. Does anyone have any questions about the shop or build processes or anything like that?
All right. Thank you so much for that, you guys.
No problem. Thank you guys for inviting us.
Of course. So all right, as we wrap up, I hope everyone had something new to take away from this. You know, this is definitely not meant to be a stopping point, but a springboard. So thanks again for everyone for being here, sharing, and speaking up. And this will be recorded. So it's meant to be shared, and we'll post that on our YouTube channel. But everyone have a great evening.
Sally, are you still there?
Thanks, everybody. Hi, Caroline. Yeah.
I'm curious. I know you guys came out with the new wheels, like the wheelchair wheels. I saw it posted online. Do you have those? Because like they posted what they are, but they never actually talked about what the functions were.
Caroline, I don't know if I think it might be our Wi-Fi. Maybe if we open the door, it might be better. I can't hear you though if you're saying anything now.
Do the wheelchair wheels, I know you posted a reel online about the wheels, but they never actually talked about the features, and I didn't know if that was something you were sharing yet, the features of the new wheelchair wheels.
Yeah, so they're a super light carbon fiber wheelchair wheel and very customizable. So you can pick a black or silver hub, and then you can pick speed rings to go along with it. You can pick your tires, your accessories, everything like that. So yeah, you can basically build up your own set, and then we ship them to you from the shop here. And then the 7s as well have the same like speed rings, so you can mix and match, have different colors for, you know, like all black if you're going on a night out, or some fun colors for work, or whatever you want to do. But yeah.
Are they aluminum like the spokes, or?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And aluminum hubs, and then carbon rims.
Nice.
Yeah, if you want us to send you any links or info on those, we'd be happy to do so. I think Sarah's working on some.
Yeah, you can find them on our website right now, so definitely go check those out.
Sweet.
Really neat.
Yeah, they're getting built up quickly, and we're starting to ship them out. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, guys.